Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya, if you're new. And today I'm very excited to be sharing with you these awesome books. They are called palette books. And they're created by Joanna Stone, a wonderful colorist who also has a YouTube channel, which I, of course, will link below. But I have been following Joanna for a while, and I love her creativity. I was actually going to give her a shout out on a coloring update to tell you to go look at her videos because she does some really creative stuff. But she also creates these palette books. Now, I would actually name them workbooks. And what I mean by that, you will see later on. But I'm going to do a flip through of these. I'm going to show them to you, and then I will show you how to use them, how I use them, and a demo of me coloring with them and where I use them in some pages. So I hope you stick around because it's going to be a fun video. So the three that she sent me, and she has more, but are kind of like autumn themes. So that's why I really wanted to get this video out in October. The first one is Cute and Comfy Autumn Palette Book. I think this one is my favorite. I love the palettes in here. Then you have Cute and Creepy Color Palette Book and Scary Color Palette Book. So these are all kind of autumny themed. So we're going to start with this one. And Joanna does have a little intro here. She designed the whole book, and here she has some colored pages where she shows you how she uses her palettes. And there's a QR code if you want to see her color along. You can actually click that and it will take you straight to her video, which is amazing. Joanna, you're amazing for doing this. Like, wow. And thank you for sending them to me because I love them. I really love these books, you guys. So there's an intro here about her journey and everything. Another QR code to send her to her video, send you to her video. Here's a list of all the color palettes. She names them. And in this book, there is 39 of them. So we are going to go through a little bit. Now, what she does is she has an inspiration image, which she explained is AI. She used AI to create the inspiration image. And yes, you guys know I am not a fan of AI art, especially in coloring books. I don't color any AI coloring books. If you haven't seen my AI video, go check it out. But in this case, it's different. It's just an inspiration, and she did create these. So what she does here is she has a color palette, and then there is some space for you to kind of find matches and write down what they are in your mediums. And then she has complementary colors that she thinks kind of complement. If you wanted to do like a gradient using these, colors, or if you wanted to add another color to the palette, you could do that in your actual, in the element itself or in the palette itself. So that's really cool. You can kind of pull from these if you wanted to add extra, or if you wanted to create, let's say you were doing a dress. You could add a little bit of green stripe, like this kind of teal to her brown dress to kind of give it an extra oomph. And so she kind of shows that that's a really nice thing to do. Actually, I think it's brilliant. And so that's what she has all going through here. And these are my favorite kind of palettes because I love autumn color palettes. And why I love these books so much is because they are actual palettes. They're not just families, color families, which the Color Cube actually has a lot of color families, which are not. I'll make a video on the color cubes. I can't recommend the color cubes as much as I can recommend these, and I will explain in a color cube video my honest thoughts of the color cube. But anyway, but these are really, really nice. And again, you have the complementary colors. So if you were to do a flower, with this kind of color, and you wanted to add maybe the center of the flower could be this, you know what I mean? Oh, I love that one. That's a beautiful palette. And you're going to see kind of how I use them. Use this book. So it's kind of great because you have an area to put stuff and actually test things out. You can even do a gradient with pencils here if you wanted. Not only with the complementary color, but you know, with this color and some lighter shades of it. If you wanted to do like a pencil gradient, you have space to do that. So these are oh, I love this one. This is one of my favorites, and the complementary colors. If you guys saw How I Choose Colors video, you will know that I don't like primary colors, especially not all together, but I rarely gravitate to primary colors. So yeah, this is an Amazon printed book. Let's move on to the second one. Cute and Creepy color palette book. A beautiful introduction here. Here are again some pages that she has colored, beautifully colored, with using her palettes. And this one will actually take you to her color along, I believe. And again, the same intro here. And so if you, like I was saying, if you saw, oh my God, I love this one. This is perfect. Even this by itself is its own color palette. So you're getting double. I feel like you're kind of getting double color palettes. If you saw my How I Choose Colors video, then you know that I don't like primary colors, especially not all together, but I don't use them. These are not primary. These are all secondary colors. That's why I love it. And they don't really repeat. And they're real palettes. They're not just, you know, a dark blue, a light blue, a lighter, a light color family. I don't like that. It's not really like a palette, in my opinion. These are palettes because they're actually colors that you wouldn't think of putting together. And they're different families. So I love that. Oh my God, I love this. That would look great together. And this, I really, really like these palettes a lot. She has done such a great job. I feel like these palettes are better than the color cubes. This is less of what I would like. This is what the color cube does, where she does like, although here you have a different color, you have a taupe, but the color cube has a lot of color palettes that are just the same family, and that doesn't help me. I need different families, things that I wouldn't think of. You know what I mean? So I hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so this is a page that I actually worked on, and you will see that when I get to it. You see how I found colors? I will get to that in a minute when I show you the page that I am working on. And I just kind of want to show you the books. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love these palettes. Oh my God. Everything is like, boom, spot on, and there aren't a lot of repeats. That's another thing I don't like about the color cube. A lot of the palettes sort of are very similar to each other. And I don't love that. And here, like you said, you get the complementary, which is brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant idea. So, Joanna, you did a wonderful, wonderful job on this. I love this too. And the last one, I'm a little bit wimpy. You guys know, whoever knows me, that I don't like scary images. Here are her beautiful pages again that she has used the color palettes on. That's beautiful. And yeah, I don't really like scary images, but the palettes here are beautiful. So here there's 37. I love these colors. So what I wanted to say was that, you know, what's nice about color palettes, the way that it could help us, is a lot of us gravitate towards certain colors, and we will use, like, I know me, and I even see other colorists on YouTube, they kind of gravitate towards a certain color palette, and they'll just use that over and over again. So to kind of break out of that and expand and kind of make something interesting and different than your usual coloring page, these are great. You know what I mean? Even this is not the same color family, so I actually really like this. I don't like it when they're all in the same. They're just like a darker and lighter shade of the same color. That's what I mean. But yeah, a lot of us will reuse our colors that we're drawn to. And then these will kind of help you break out of that and use colors that you normally wouldn't use. You know, especially not together in a limited palette. So, oh my God, I'm such a wimp. I'm scared of these images, but I love the palettes. I know a lot of you guys like scary stuff, so this would be perfect for you. Love that how she named it too. This is beautiful. Yeah, these are totally up my alley. This is what I like. These are the kind of palettes that I like, the colors that I like. So this could really help me break out of my usual kind of colors that I use, especially for skies and backgrounds. That's really going to be helpful. And just to do a limited palette, I mean, I don't do that very often, and I love it how it turns out when I do it. Here she kind of explains, I think, the different characters of different folklore scary characters. So that's kind of cool if you're into that. Okay, and then here you can, for her Facebook group, you can join that. She has all her social media there. So I really, really like these books, you guys. I love the palettes in here. And I really wanted to get it out in October. So I would have done even more coloring if I had more time. But because of limited time, I did as much coloring as I could in order to film this video and everything. So let's get into showing you how I use the books. Okay, so I picked out this page right here to try the color palette. And I'm going in kind of slow. Ideally, it would be better to have like a sky because I would want to do the sky in those colors. But I'm going to go in slow. And it's my first time using it. And I want to make it simple also for you guys. So let me show you what I did here. As you can see, it's a workbook. So I found the colors for the main color palette. And this one is the Cute and Creepy. So the hardest color to find was actually the brick, believe it or not, brick flame. But I did find them. So the Oxide Red is actually a King Art twin tip water-based marker. Now I can't use any alcohol markers in this book, so I didn't look at my alcohol marker collection. For the brick flame, I did find a Crayola super tip here that is similar, but it's not exactly. The closer one was actually a White Knight granulating watercolor, which I showed in my other video. So I will leave the link to the video about these below if you didn't see it. And if I didn't link it, remind me. Then I did Antique Ivory. I actually found a Zebra mild liner. And the next closest was actually this is from Five Below, just a water-based marker from Five Below. But the one that I feel like looks closer is a Zebra mild liner. Or maybe this one actually also is kind of close. So I'll put them together. And then for the Sage Smoke, I found two different ones that were kind of in that area. The Faber-Castell Earth Green and the Zig Clean watercolor. Excuse me, Zig Clean Color, the real brush pen. So that one was kind of similar. I couldn't find exactly, even though I love this gray. I couldn't find it exactly. I know I have it in alcohol marker, but with water-based, it's a little difficult. But that's okay. It could be in that area. And then Charcoal Teal, she's calling that one. I found something pretty close. The Dark Agate, it's called, in the Zig Clean color. And then I have some other ones that were kind of similar, like another one here from the Zig Clean. And then here for her complementary colors, I did find a Artex, actually four Artex. So this one. And then for this dark, beautiful brown, it's another one of my White Knight granulating watercolors. So I actually put them all down. I wrote what they were in case I want to go back and do it again, which that's what's the nice part is. It's like a workbook. that she leaves you area to put in your mediums. And then I can always add more mediums here. There's more space. So that is great. So I have here all my colors. This is the Crayola Super Tip, and let me put all of these together. So I have my complementary and extra colors, and then I have the main colors to fit the palette. So I have quite a bit here to work with, which is great. And then I can always add pencils on top. So yeah, I'm gonna get started with coloring this, and I will speed you up. Okay, so here I am starting the page, and I'm working with the markers that I picked out, the water-based markers that I picked out. And at first I thought about maybe doing a gradient. You could see I'm putting a little bit of that on the palette and picking it up so that I can create like a gradient. Later on I decided against the gradient and just to color it straight. You'll see that in a minute, but that's part of the process of a page that you haven't planned out very much. It's kind of, I just kind of went with it, and I didn't plan it out very much in my head, so that sometimes you kind of have to roll with the punches and change things, which I have done quite a bit here, even with the colors. So yeah, then I picked up that May Green, I think it's called. Here I realized that the colors, the greens they were too green. I wanted like a green gray, but they were a little bit too green. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go over it later on with gray. In my mind, I said, I'll go over it again with gray pencils. So I continued, and now I'm using like for that dark, bluish, grayish, tealish kind of color. I'm just continuing and adding a little bit darkness. I'm still on my gradient kick, but later you will see I've changed my mind. I said, you know what, I'm just going to do straight coloring. I'm not going to do a gradient anymore, and I will go over the other colors later. I made a little bit of a mistake here with the colors, but that's okay. In terms of the lines, where the lines were continuing. Here you can see I'm just doing straight coloring. That's a Crayola Super Tip. Then I took the White Night color, and I'm just coloring the entire thing. I'm not even bothering with a gradient, and I think it looks better. So later on, I'm going to go over whatever I did with a gradient. I'm going to go over it, the entire thing, and just color it regular. So the evolution of a page, that you don't plan it, you just have to change things as you go if you don't like them. And that's what I did. So yeah, this is just straight coloring with all the colors that I picked out that I showed you. And in my mind, I am realizing that the grays are not gray enough, and they're a little bit too green. So in my mind, I know, okay, I need to go over this with gray pencils so that it looks more gray. Then I took a Crayola Super Tip. This was not on the palette. I just felt like the cat would look great with it and it would stand out. It's just a nice, like, warmish, yellowy brown kind of color. And I decided I'm going to do the cat. And then I also decided in my mind that I would do the stripes of the cat with the teal colors that were complementary on the palette. So that's what I am doing there. And I'm not coloring the entire cat. You can see I'm leaving a little bit of white because I will do a gradient. I'm going to put a little bit of that Super Tip on the water-based marker Super Tip on the palette, pick it up with some water to dilute it, and that way I'm creating more of a gradient with the water-based marker. So that's what I'm doing there. And you can see where I'm leaving the highlight. Where I'm leaving white is the top, the highest part of the cat. Always the highest part, the closest that's to the viewer is left white, or that's where the highlight is. Here you can see that I am taking pencils and adding a little bit of darkness to each stripe. And I'm going over here the gradient coloring with just straight coloring, filling it out a little bit. But I am adding some pencil on top, especially the grays here. You can see the grays. I'm trying to make those sagey greeny grays a little bit more gray. That's what I'm doing there, and adding a little bit of a gradient to the stripes. So just rolling with it and trying to make it better with more layers. That's how I roll. I always add more and more layers and more things. And here I took out all my grays that were on my desk, basically. So you could see that on the side there. And finally, I took out some Derwent the Derwent drawing pencils. I love that set. And I do want the new Derwent drawing set, the whole big set, but I'm going to have to wait for that because that is not easy to get in the United States. So I will wait till it's more available. Maybe I'll wait till it's available on Amazon here. So we'll see when that will be. But yeah, I love the Derwent drawing pencils. Here I am just going over, doing another layer. Here I'm adding a little bit of brown, a dark brown to the edges of the cat, just with some watercolors. Just since I already have that palette out, the granulating. So I'm just using that. It doesn't matter. Just any dark gray dark brown to kind of add some shading to the cat. And even though I know I'm going to use pencil as well on top. Here you can see I put some of that, the same color of the cat on the palette just to pick it up with some water and create a gradient. It's a little bit lighter. And for the highlight. And now I'm starting on the stripes. I am using 3 different Artex acrylic markers. The ones that I showed you that I put in the workbook to match the complementary colors on the palette. So that's what I'm using there basically. And I'm just doing the stripes of the cat. And I think it looks great. The acrylic marker is more opaque. So it's covering some of those black lines. And it kind of pops against the water-based marker gradient of the actual cat. Then I took out some metallic watercolors. I have one Calero and one Finetec. And I have a spray bottle with water. I've had it for years. It's from Whole Foods. It's glass. And I just spray my watercolors like that. And work it. And then just paint it on. Later on, off camera, I did also choose a turquoise Calero metallic watercolor as well for some of the stripes. But I am just going through there and painting the stripes with metallics. I thought adding a little bit of metallic to this page would look really nice. And I tried to pick out colors that were in the family of the palette, of course, and of the page so far. So that's what I'm doing there. A lot of people always ask me, you just make sure that you don't use too much water so that the metallic watercolor is more opaque, and you'll be fine. Mine are streaky too. It's okay. That's part of it. But you can't tell that much when you're, on the camera. But mine are just as streaky as yours, believe me. So that's what I'm doing there. That's a Finetec, like a nice reddish. The red color was difficult for me to match, even with all my mediums. That beautiful red brick was not easy to find. But this is kind of close, I feel like. So I wasn't sure if I would use the Finetec or my Artistro. I also have an Artistro metallic red color, but I ended up choosing this one. Please excuse my raspy voice. Okay, so this is how the page is turning out so far. It is not finished. I still need to add darkness, contrast, and more shading. But this is the kind of where I am now. Hopefully you'll see it in my completed pages. But I love how the palette turned out. I think these are colors that I normally wouldn't use. For example, the metallic here that I did. By the way, I ended up adding like also a turquoise because of the complementary colors in here. So I finished like the stripes of the cat. I did add a little cool tone pink to the ears, and then I added another metallic Calero watercolor for the stripes. Normally I would have done the stripes in like a muted brown or like even my gold Kuretake ink. But because of the palette, I chose these colors, which I normally wouldn't do. So that was fun. Even for the metallic part, I went with the palette. So that's where I am. Hopefully you will see this in my completed pages. I would have loved to have completed it before the video, but, time constraints. So that's the reason. Okay, another place that I used the book is actually in this book, Cinderellion. I already had it on my desk and I wanted to do this one, at least start it. Now, originally my go-to I was going to do a dark blue here in the background. That's like my go-to. But I wanted to break out of that and use one of these palettes. So I didn't actually mark this because I used alcohol markers here and I didn't want, obviously I didn't want to ruin this because it's double-sided. I didn't want to do it, but I could always put a post-it here with paper, like just a post-it, and do with the alcohol marker and write them down. I didn't do that here, but I probably will in the future. I try to take colors similar to this, basically. But yeah, I did use here this beautiful color palette. I love the sky here. See the background? It would be great to kind of make this a little bit lighter on the top here, which I will do, and then darker on the bottom. I'm going to work on this. But I love the inspiration here, and if I wanted to add details here, maybe to her, I could use these colors. So that is where I started using this palette. And it's not finished yet, obviously. This is just basic. Okay, so let me show you what I did so far. I didn't get to continue too much. I did a little bit of darkness here, a little lighter, some shading here. Hopefully you will see that in my completed pages in the future. But I'm loving how the palette is turning out so far. So that is all I have for you in today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. And I will leave the links not only to Joanna's amazing channel, which you should definitely check out, because I was going to mention her anyway. It's crazy how the universe works, because I was planning on mentioning her, and then she wrote to me on Instagram about sending me these books. So Joanna, thank you so much for sending me the books. I love them. It was a pleasure to share them on my channel. I will also leave the links to these books in the description box, and if I can find any of her other books, I will leave them as well. She has other color palette books. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and that you're enjoying your autumn coloring, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.